Hi, my name's Phil Needham. We're talking here about setting up a planter and some of the things that growers can perhaps think about to do a better job at planting time, which obviously takes us out into the topic of residue management. So just starting out, here we've got a picture of a planter, no-tilling corn right back into corn. In this example, we're using a floating row cleaner in addition to a fertilizer opener to obviously part residue and place fertilizer alongside the row in a band, which is pretty important. We've seen that row placed fertilizer or row placed fertilizer placed alongside the row is pretty important. If you've got any kind of stress, whether it's dry weather stress, high moisture stress on both sides of the spectrum, then placing a band of fertilizer, for example nitrogen and phosphate or nitrogen or phosphate, generally nitrogen is very important, especially in the early stages of that crop, especially V5, V6, V7, when that yield is being created. So early plant health is important. But back to the row cleaner for a second, what you can see is going on, we're obviously parting lots of residue here, okay? So whenever you've got large volumes of residue, especially corn stalks, it's really important to make sure that all that residue, or as much of it as possible, is distributed evenly at harvest time. So obviously a properly set up corn head is part of that, but obviously spreading as much material that actually enters and exits the combine evenly is important too. Some spreaders, chopper combinations on combines do good jobs, some don't do a very good job. Even on the way here to Springfield at this event, I saw some fields where residue management at harvest time was less than adequate, and even no-tilling or strip tilling into those fields is going to be more of a challenge because the residue wasn't distributed evenly. So these are some things that we're talking about, really focusing here on managing residue at seeding time and some of the things that growers need to be thinking about. We're not far away from a number of product offerings on the market that are going to help us increase planting speeds. So improved metering, improved and heavier row units, which will obviously let us plant at higher speeds if the conditions allow, which isn't for everyone. But if you're in a large field, good flat field, no rocks, in those environments I can see growers being able to plant significantly faster than growers are today. Hills and rocks and small fields, probably not. But yeah, improved metering is going to be a big component of that for sure. Heavier row units, when we're moving faster, when we move faster, obviously it's going to put more force on a lot of these parts, the faceplate, the row cleaners, the fertilizer openers. All of these are going to have to be modified also. So I would say there's a large emphasis on operating efficiencies. So planters that can plant faster obviously are going to be a key part of that. Probably the last point I'm going to make, control traffic, managing traffic, RTK guidance, so you can plant corn, for example, between the previous corn rows or on top of, depending on your strategy. Integrates very well with cover crops, planting rows on rows. You know, so these are some of the things I'd suggest that are coming down the road from a point of view of planting technologies and GPS technologies.